Justice League of America, The Atom Rebirth Issue 1, Steve Orlando writing, Andy McDonald on art. This is the first of the 4 one-shots over this month, which is building up to... It's 4 of the main characters, not all the main characters, but 4 of the main characters from Justice League of America, which is starting next month. And each issue...
The 4 newest ones.
The 4 newest ones. And this issue... And each of the 4 issues, I imagine, are just basically going to be... Here's this character, here's their origin, here's where they are now, so you know who they are going into this team book.
Yeah, and then presumably the book will start with getting them together for whatever reason.
Yeah, and obviously some of it's going to come out of the event as well, which I've already said, and especially since Killer Frost and Lobo are both involved in that, I feel like
yeah,
they'll sort of tie into that as well. So
Killer Frost is getting one, right?
Yeah, she's getting one.
Yeah. Which kind of seems weird, given that they did the Suicide Squad tie-in.
That's what I was going to say. I wonder how late in the process that tie-in was. That was the backup.
That was probably just...
It was only like 10 pages.
It was probably just, we don't have a tie-in for that, or a backup for that issue. Or someone quickly write something.
Yeah, I hope that isn't just like, if it's the same, like, just covering the same ground. I mean, obviously this will be more spaced out and have a full issue, but it seems weird.
Hers might not be, though, the same as the other ones, I mean, just in the sense that they might want to pick up the threads from... Then again, it's coming out in the middle of the event, because it'll be out before the event's finished, so maybe it can't be.
I hope it just touches on that she's not actually a villain, she's a victim of circumstance. So
yeah, I think so, given the way that Superman spoke to her in the event this week.
Exactly. So that ground's been laid, so...
That said, do we know what week Killer Frost is?
I think it's the 3rd, because Vixen's next, and I think the Ray's the last, so that leaves...
So I was going to say, if it was the last... That would be the same week as the final issue of the event. So you could say, "Oh, this is after that."
Yeah. Well, who knows? They could shuffle stuff around. I don't know for sure. So.
Yeah. So this is the Atom. This is Choi, the new generation Atom, not Cord. Oh, not Cord. Sorry, Cord.
Not Cord. Palmer.
I'm jumping into Blue Beetle territory. Yeah, Ray Palmer.
You are.
And it's a story of him going to college and meeting Palmer, who's one of his professors, and they bond over a year of time. And we actually build up eventually at the end of the issue to the scene from the Rebirth issue, as in DC Universe Rebirth issue 1 way back in May. And it had that scene where Palmer disappeared into the microverse.
Yeah.
And he's like, Choi, I've left you a belt. You're the only one who knows how this stuff works. You've been working with me. You can take this on. I mean, it goes further than that as well. We see his, like, a couple of pages after that too, and we see him decide that he's going to be the Atom, essentially. Yeah. And yeah, it's just kind of this is who he is. This is the type of person he is. This is how he met Ray.
Yeah.
There you go. I think it's a enjoyable enough issue. I think it's a necessary issue. I think, unlike a lot of the other Rebirth issue ones, these ones are all more important because they are all characters that even big DC fans might not be as familiar with.
Yeah, I never read the Ryan Choi Atom stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
Me either.
So it's nice to get a reset on this.
So I think that these serve a really good purpose in that, for everyone, because everyone knows who Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are. This is, here's these small characters who you don't know, so that when we go into this new book, you understand who they all are, what their motivations are, and it's a nice
it means we don't have to waste time in the main series explaining away bits with exposition. We can just, we've had it, let's move on, get the story going.
And the fact that this one deals with that scene from the Rebirth issue makes me confident that the main book will pick up these threads as well. That it'll incorporate the Atom stuff with the micro. Like maybe one of the arcs will focus on that, and the Atom, the new Atom will
think
work.
It must, because it's not just the Atom, is it? It's still a JLA title.
Yeah.
Which means it's got to tie into the main book more than just his character.
That's what I'm saying though. Is I'm saying
for Palmer,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be an arc where they all work together, and Choi will lead them on this attempt to try and find them. And again, I'd even forgotten about that line he gives them about when he's in the microverse and he leaves them that recording about how there's been a disturbance in the microverse, something's altered things. It's again tying into Rebirth, which is cool. So that's exciting.
Definitely. And it was a nice. Well, I was gonna say real quick before we moved on, the character stuff between the two. It established who Ryan Choi was really efficiently. From the scene with his parents and him always wanting to go to Ivy because that's like the best science school for what he wants to do. And even his parents were like, you can study what you want. We studied music. You can do whatever. It was kind of a nice, no, this is who he is and what he wants to do. And even the stuff with Palmer, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, my weirdest thing is obviously this is still like we had Palmer in the New 52, right? Because he did some stuff with Shade.
I have no idea.
I'm sure he popped up in that stuff.
Kinda, but like, it wasn't Ray Palmer. It was a character with the name of Ray Palmer, but he didn't act like Ray Palmer.
That was the thing. So I'm sure he popped up with the Shade stuff, and I was like, huh.
But here, from what I know about him, from like Identity Crisis and even Countdown, which, for those who are unfamiliar, after 52, the series came out, DC kept trying to do weekly series. So they did this really terrible one called Countdown that took 52, which counted up to 52, counted down to 52, or counted 0 from 52.
Wait, hold on. It counted down to 1.
Yeah.
To 0.
Right, okay.
Where we saw Darkseid die.
Was it a 0 issue?
The 0 issue was the last issue.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was really terrible. But the one good thing through it was the hunt for Ray Palmer, where you had Kyle Rayner and Jade, a lot of these lost heroes that didn't really have a place at the time. Were looking for Ray Palmer. And I got to know the character through there and through Identity Crisis. So to see him pop up here, and it felt like the same guy. And they even mentioned his ex-wife and how he still loves her even though they're divorced. There was a lot of that familiarity there that I picked up on.
I do think it's clever that this issue is called The Atom, but it is about both of them. Like, it's introducing both of them to this universe now and giving us ideas of who they both are at the same time.
Yeah,
it's that idea that, you know, like when, like, you can have a book called The Flash and it's about both Flash and Kid Flash. It's not just the one. And
which that's always what DC did with Legacy, was you could have them both still. Like, Wally West was really the outlier for a while because Barry was gone and he was just the Flash. But, you know, for as long as they've had, like, the JSA, you've had Alan Scott and Hal Jordan running around, you know, at least after Crisis. So, anyways, Legacy good, Atom good.
Yeah. I think this issue serves a good purpose. I didn't love it. Like, I think it's a really solid issue, but, you know, it didn't blow me away. It wasn't my favourite of the week by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, but it was a good Rebirth book.
And most importantly, it does exactly what it needs to do.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly the right thing. It does what it needs to do.
And I think that it's helped out because there's not going to be an Atom ongoing, right?
No. Well, I mean, they could announce one later, but
but not right now. Yeah, so it's setting up stuff for Orlando's JLA.
Yeah,
so that's cool.
Which is why I think it's cool that they're going to pick up. Like, you know, maybe arc number 2 will be Search for Ray with his stuff, or arc number 3 maybe that. And I don't know what the other characters are setting up for their stories, but this is the only one I think was teased in the Rebirth issue. I could be wrong. I don't remember any of the other characters.
Yeah, because
I don't think any of those were.
Yeah, this is the only one, which makes sense because I think Johns has always liked Ray Palmer as a character. So, plus if he's investigating something going on at the micro level, then.
I also like it because it makes JLA by extension feel really planned out. If that's building off this, which is building off the Rebirth, it makes it feel like, oh, this story, the ideas have been going since that Rebirth issue. Yeah,
and I can almost see it like maybe there's not an arc where they try and find Ray, or if there is, they don't succeed entirely. It doesn't properly come back out of the microverse or come out of play until they have the big events going on, and it'll be a tie-in thing where he comes out of the microverse at the same time as the events going down, where there's like lots of Rebirth things happening.
Yeah,
could be
later in the year. I don't know. I can see that happen. I can see Johns maybe planning that out in advance.
Well, I mean, like, look at what is Dr. Manhattan's logo on his forehead. It's an atom, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, I'm sure one's gonna play into the other.
Well, is Manhattan going to try and do his his poof thing on him, but Atom will shrink down so he can't, kind of thing? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it makes kind of sense if you have a scientist versus scientist kind of deal. So, like, I'm down for that.